March 12th is the date heard around the world where everything shut down, and having been through that and witnessed it, and then all of a sudden having everything normal taken away, I think it was so important to have some sense of normalcy. While we weren't able to compete with outside opponents, it was great that our students were still able to compete.
Being able to come back this semester, I think it allowed everyone to get back into their sports, be around their coaches, be around their teammates, and have, even if it wasn't an actual competitive season, just a sense of togetherness and team.
We can provide these student athletes a sense of normalcy, to be with their teammates, to be in a familiar setting, to work out, to get better, because we're still competing for championships ultimately.
The summer leading up to this past fall was spent in meetings trying to help with the testing process and how do we bring people in, developing our policies and procedures, developing ways to treat our athletes in here in the safest way possible.
I think our unit likes to be a step ahead as much as we possibly can, and I think just adapting to the situation was probably the biggest challenge coming into the semester.
I think once we kind of got the hang of it, wearing the masks, being able to communicate, and kind of realizing that we could do our job and still provide the same level of care with the new restrictions, I think that definitely made the semester move a lot easier.
Our goal was to try to create a safe environment for our student athletes as best we could, and this was what we saw or thought was the best course of action.
We had to de-densify. We couldn't have very many student athletes in a certain square footage, so being able to figure out how do we take advantage of the space that we have. And then also we constructed an additional weight room in the rec gym this summer, which allowed us to service more student athletes at one time.
We have different curtains and things up to try to create about 6 feet or so between each workstation.
Before each group started their warm-up, we did temperature checks as well as checking their wellness badges, which is a symptom checklist that they fill out every morning. We really ramped up our cleaning protocols. After the workout, we left a 15-minute buffer before the next team came in. Our student workers came in and they would spray all the equipment down, they'd wipe everything down, we cleaned the floors as well. I'm proud of our strength and conditioning staff. They did a great job with some really challenging times, some situations that are not normal in our world, and we're able to roll with the punches and putting in some really tough hours, some challenging hours, even more so than usual.
Our athletic training staff did a tremendous job in terms of keeping the campus safe. They stepped up and took over surveillance testing on campus. So they were conducting tests every single Monday for the Student Wellness Center. So they were the frontline workers, and I think it's really great to have the opportunity to show people that athletic trainers are more than just people that carry water on the sidelines or tape ankles.
Making it to the end for me was probably the greatest success, and I think along with that, seeing the campus's commitment to trying to stay as safe as we possibly can.
The students were the reason that we were able to do all this. We could have the greatest procedures in the world set in place in the weight room or wherever, but if the students don't buy in and they're not doing what they're supposed to, then none of that stuff matters.
They were following the rules. They were doing everything that they could to keep themselves safe, to keep their peers safe, and just keep the overall Denison community safe.
I think I'm most proud of the fact that we were able to give our student athletes the opportunity to have sports. People were very, very appreciative of the efforts that were given for this, and I think that's, for me, what makes me really proud to do what we have done.